Hello and welcome back to the Endgame gameplay video for the evening. Let me know if you guys want me to add music to this, or if you just prefer to hear the sounds of gameplay and my voice, or if you don't prefer to hear my voice, whatever the case is. Um, this is for you guys and also just kind of cathartic for me to have something to kind of get my thoughts out there as I'm flickering through maps and just really having a pretty grand old time. Crypt has gotten a lot of layout changes, and I actually really like the way Crypt plays now. Before, I would just never run Crypt because the corridors were so tight, and it just wasn't ideal, that's for sure. This gameplay video is with Collapsing Horizon order stuff that I just put out in my budget gameplay update. I'm just wanting to test it out some more in maps, see how it feels. Looks like we're selling a 5-div bow. A lot of my divines this league has been just from selling items. Um, Not a ton of raw currency drops, that's for sure. I figured an Amazon would buy this because of the accuracy rating on it. So he's going to get a bunch of flat damage from that, which I'm sure feels good for him. Good luck to that guy using that bow. I'm going to be putting together a Discord. I just need to figure out how to make it nice and kind of auto-moderated so that I don't have to constantly be monitoring that, because I'm already kind of constantly monitoring the YouTube comments. Um, just because I want to stay engaged with people that are watching the videos. But I do think that having a place for people that are, consuming Path of Exile stuff every single day, just to kind of talk amongst each other. You guys can talk to me in there too, so I can help out with, any build. I have a lot of Exile 2 knowledge in general, so obviously I'm going to know more about Flicker than anything else, but I do have a very good understanding of most of the mechanics in this game. And so I just want to be able to help out with really any builds. So that's kind of one of the purposes that the Discord can serve, is just a place for everyone to talk about their builds, price check items, help each other out with certain things if people are interested in partying. If not, it's just be nice to have a place to talk, because Path of Exile can sometimes get to be a little bit of a lonely game, especially if your friends aren't like really enjoying the league, or they want to go try Last Epoch, and then you're the only one left playing Path of Exile 2. So then I just go and talk to the void of you YouTube viewers, which I hope you all are at least enjoying it. Gosh, Flicker can get so insane in Crypt though. Just how much you can just kind of bounce around everywhere. These high-end rituals get pretty crazy too. I almost don't like Breach because it keeps me in the confines of the Breach. I can't just like keep going. My pack density on Breach, I miss it. I miss having like 900 monsters in these things. This is a T16 level map. Item level area 80. So just wanted to clarify that for anybody who didn't know. I obviously record these videos when my kids are sleeping, and so that's why I'm generally pretty quiet. Because I'm not recording them while I'm working or, during the day when I'm, either hanging out with the wife or kids. And yeah. Wife made meatballs tonight. It was really, really, really good. Meatballs with quinoa and peas. Tasted really good. Now here's the test of this Collapsing Horizon quarterstaff is, are we going to one-shot bosses with it? I bet we still will. Let's see. Oh, almost. Not quite.
Map.
Still really good damage. I mean, if you're fresh into the maps and you're doing, using a Collapsing Horizon quarterstaff, like a tier 5 map, I mean, those bosses are going to fall over no problem. Jesus, that was awesome. There's still so many times that I'm using Flicker Strike, and this is another reason why Collapsing Horizon isn't perfect. It's just because you leave rares on the floor sometimes, whereas with my other quarterstaff you don't. But I feel like you definitely get a little bit bigger booms with this one, which is nice to see. There's our dextral annulment that we found in the last video. I'm gonna get that deferred again so we can hopefully pick it up for cheaper. Nothing else that I'm really seeing in this one. And we'll defer it one more time. And then I think next time is when we'll be able to pick it up. So deferred with 16 tribute remaining, so the price didn't go up. For anybody who doesn't know how ritual mechanics work, you defer an item, you get a discount on what you defer it for, and it will show up in another window later. If you don't defer it, it doesn't go away forever. It just goes up in price until you defer it again. So a lot of the like super high value items usually don't. They're too expensive to get in like a singular window most of the time. Right now, we're just on our way to these 3 towers. There's a 4th tower over here with corrupted stuff. I'll probably put like the tablet map that makes it so that you can like travel further. Like you could just travel to anywhere in the nodes. But we're on our way to juice some maps. I may actually just go do one of my pre-existingly juiced maps next, but I just wanted to make some progress towards this area because I can get 3 or 4 towers in that area, and maybe I'll uncover another citadel because through hundreds of maps on this character, I've only seen one citadel, and that was Geonor, which I have a YouTube video up on. Bloomingfield is such a great map for this build, though. I mean, my goodness. You're just fucking... Jesus entirely takes the wheel. Man, it's fucking great. Which is funny enough that, I play a monk. I say Jesus takes the wheel, but I'm actually Buddhist, so there's the reason that Korihor is a monk. I added chapters to the last gameplay video, so if you wanted to thumb through that, and then I also added chapters to my in-depth guide that I did. So if you want to check that out, let me know how the chapters come across. You know what? I'm gonna put concentrated effect back in. I have been doing a lot of strongbox texting, and I've gotten divs out of these, whereas before they were just completely and utterly useless. If you're alching these, you're definitely going to get more value in currency back most of the time. That time I only got a Val, but I also got a Jin Barrier, so you could sell that for an Exile if you wanted to, just in early maps. This is an acceleration shrine. You're gonna see, you're all in for a treat. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. Oh my god, dude. I'm telling you, you still get giddy even after Flicker striking for 200 hours this league. Probably a little bit more than that. I think I'm up to 300 in this league now.
Map.
Especially with Acceleration Shrine, man. It's pretty sweet.
Map.
Just zooming through the map like this is... I think this was the vision. They want us to go collect shrines so they can...
Map.
They can test how powerful they made shrines. I cleaned up my loot filter quite a bit, so I'm really not, like... There's a ton more items that I'm not picking up. I just don't want to spend the time, like, crafting on a ton of items. See if I can get an original sin. Oh, a black flame. And you know what a black flame is? 2 chaos. But I don't want to leave a map for 2 chaos, so it's going in the disenchant bin. Because the chance shard is worth an exalt. I bet some of you are cringing right now. Like, no, dude, you just threw away 2 exalts, or whatever the case is. 2 chaos. That's what I meant to say. All right, let's find a map here. Is it rarity and rare monsters and increased monster damage? Should be a good one. That one is not quite. I don't want to do Val Factory, but it's probably like my most juiced map on this one. I'll do Backwash. Backwash is a fun one. I like Backwash. Did it have a boss on it? This is the only boss that I don't really like in like the map pool that I usually go for. I feel like she's the hardest boss, but there's no boss in this one. It's just a breach and ritual. Early league I was running a lot of expedition, and that's also my suggestion for a lot of people early on in the league is to run expedition. Just because expedition currency is very consistent. Like you do get a lot of that, even without like rarity on your gear. You do get a lot of expedition currency, so there's not as much guesswork into like, oh, do I have to price out an item, or hopefully I have enough rarity on my gear. Like, none of that matters. You just pick up the shards, exchange them for exalts, or save them for yourself to craft with. But recombinators are really hard to get rolling right now. I haven't done much recombinating. I guess that's not true. One of the staffs I craft and sold for 15 div was via recombinator with crit and cold damage. Yeah, it was fun playing around with Collapsing Horizon for a minute, but I think I'm going to swap back. When I did that Collapsing Horizon video, I didn't actually give it a fair shake with my other quarterstaff because I didn't have concentrated effect in. So I said it was doing 51k tooltip DPS. It's actually doing 66k. I had Ambrosia in there for the tooltip, but yeah. Anyways, back into it. Yeah, another thing that's like a really bad habit about oh no, backwash isn't the one that I was thinking of for the boss. Sorry, I know that was like a squirrel moment. Sump is the one that's the like witch doctor boss from Act 3. She's really powerful. This boss, if she was on here, it's the Apex of Filth boss that's
Map.
on this map. And she's honestly pretty easy. My goodness, that was a good flicker. Yeah, the Apex of Filth boss is pretty easy. Although she can squish you like an ant if you're not careful on the initial pull of that boss. Oh, here we go again. A Regal. Anybody know if Regals or Elks are worth more right now? I feel like they're probably pretty close in price. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe old core whores up in the night. Is anybody familiar with that saying, by the way? I've been using it a lot. I'm obviously familiar with it or I wouldn't be using it, but up in the night is like you're crazy if you didn't know that. But if it's something you use often, you know, call it out. My other up in the night people. Now y'all can see why I spec into shrines. Shrines and strong boxes. I've seen 3 Venters Troves. And
Map.
man, are they fun. The Venters Troves. I've gotten 3 level 20 skill gems and a perfect jeweler from 3 boxes. One box gave me 2 level 20s. One box gave me a level 20 and a perfect jewelers. And one box gave me level 20 and that's it. I think I actually have a clip of that one, so I can upload that to Shorts so you can see exactly what the Venter's Strongbox looks like. I think it starts at like 200, then 2,000, then 20,000, then 200,000, then 2 million. Or take out the 200 one. That may be the only one that isn't there, but that's what it looks like. I'm gonna do a Breachstone tonight actually, because I know that I uploaded that short, but I also want to give you like unedited footage of kind of like what the setup looks like. It does a one shot doesn't happen every single time, you know, as much as I'd like to maintain and say that I one shot T4 Xesht every single time. Um, I'm sure I'll definitely get to a point where I am, but it was relatively recently that I was able to start one shotting him, and I've done it a handful of times now, but it's not every single time because sometimes I mess up the combo because I'm not a god gamer. Um, and the combo is just essentially like lay down your curse and do the critical weakness stuff and make sure you remembered to swap your gems if you were going to swap your gems, just all of that stuff. And you know, that's the things that you do for kind of tier 4 pinnacle bosses right now, just because obviously they nerfed a lot of damage, but it does still feel really good that the, you know, the boss with the highest health in the game outside of like T4 Arbiter um, goes down in one flicker strike still. And there was a lot of investment to get it to the point where I'm one-shotting him with flicker strike. Like I don't think it's not like Stat Stacker before, where it was like, you know, kill him in 5 seconds after you get an attributes amulet. Not even an Astromentus. Like most people weren't even running Astromentuses and still doing absolutely insane boss and map DPS. Or even Spark Stormweaver. It was like, hey, you do Lightning Conduit and then you like teleport to it or whatever and do a 37 billion damage or whatever because it had literally a 1400% more multiplier on the motherfucking skill. And so the boss just instantly dies. I'm happy that Archmage got nerfed, but they didn't really give like self-casts casters an option to improve themselves outside of it. So like that's why Stormweaver is almost as shit as Acolyte Chayula right now. I don't even think Acolyte's shit at all. I just think that Acolyte doesn't really like there isn't any skills that really match the aesthetic. I mean, if they came out with the MTX for those void skills, like Flicker having the void trail and Whirling Assault having the like, you know, kind of purple edges and the Wind Blast being a looking like it's a blast of chaos, then yeah, I could definitely see. And here we go. We got our Omen of Dextral Annulment. Um, so we've actually collected it. That's 440 exalts, so right around 4 div. That is a feels good man. So you just got to witness me pull 4 divs out of a ritual window. Um, and right when I completed the map. So I think this will probably be a pretty good place to stop after we do the Breachstone. So I'll just kind of toss everything into the old stash here, and then I'll go through what some of the boss tech is that I do. So I grab my character gear sets here, do the Power Tread hunting shoes, I do the Beacon of Azes, I grab my flammability, cursed ground, heightened curse, and then Eye of Winter and deceleration. I'm also going to set up like a cast on crit one so that I can have cast on crit cast mark. But for right now, I don't want to go through the effort of swapping out cast on crit as well. And then you'll get an idea of what it looks like swapping the gems in and out right before you go into the big boss. It'll obviously be the same for any of the bosses you do outside of Simulacrum, which you won't ever see me doing Simulacrum content. I fucking hate it. It's not that I couldn't do it, you know, I did it just fine on my previous character in point one. I just really despise Simulacrum content. I just hate the fact that you just have to find a way to cheese it basically because they just have so much stun build up on those mobs and you can't really like freeze them. It feels like they don't leave behind corpses, so like Flicker Strike is just essentially turned off in Delirium and Simulacrum, which I was born to flick, man. Been wanting to experiment with other like in between skills other than flicker. I mean, obviously flickers are primary clear and bread and butter and single target damage and all of that kind of stuff, but just for like flavor, is there something that's like, as viable as Stormwave, like that comes out as quick? I've tried Wind Blast before. If like, it feels really weird with Wind Blast. It feels like I'm hitting like it's like Wind Blast prioritizes the low end of your lightning damage or something because it just feels so much weaker than Stormwave. I mean, I know that the tooltip is about 100% attack damage weaker, but I'm not feeling like when I do hit with it, it doesn't feel like it's a 25% damage loss. It just feels like I'm almost missing. Like I just don't hit them. And then the knockback's kind of weird to deal with, and I just, so Wind Blast stayed in it. Love to see if Whirling Assault can work. I want to see if whatever the jump back Glacial Cascade, not actual Glacial Cascade, but I think it's literally called Freezing Wave or something like that. I want to check that out. It's really slow when I remember from what I remember from it before, so I'm gonna doubt that it's like viable as an in-between thing for mapping. But I guess that kind of depends on how far back it pulls you. Getting 4 Reaver Catalysts essentially pay for the Breachstone because the Breachstone's 40. Reaver Catalysts go for like 7 Exalts a piece right now. So, if you want to roll the dice on seeing if you get a nice stack of Reavers, then you can. Wow, that's a pretty good staff. Okay, so before I forget, we'll go ahead and make all the swaps that we're going to make. So you put in your hunting shoes, gives you an extra power charge and critical damage bonus based on your power charges. And Beacon of Azus, critical hits ignore monster elemental resistances. Then we just go ahead and swap out our Herald of Thunder and one of our Keston Freezes for, Eye of Winter, deceleration, flammability is already in, and then I do Cursed Ground and Heightened Curse. Um, and then I put Unleash into Eye of Winter, so I only have to cast it once to ensure full stacks, and Pinpoint Critical into Eye of Winter so that it's guaranteed to crit. In our second weapon set, we have Antler Focus, which applies stacks of critical weakness on critical hit, um, which is obviously going to be benefiting Flicker a lot. And so I'm going to leave Hit and Run in. I just want to see if Hit and Run does enough damage um, without putting Overextend in. I may not one-shot the boss, but if I get embarrassed by the boss, so be it. Obviously it takes a bit of setup to grab your power charges and stuff, but there's different setups for pretty much every single build that you want to be doing. I didn't give critical weakness, but holy shit, it did it anyway. I don't know why I didn't give critical weakness, but that was really fast. That was actually a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. I think that was like 15 million DPS probably. So it doesn't look like I need to swap out hit and run anymore. But we did get lucky because the crit went through. Um, lucky in the sense that our quarter staff obviously has a 62% chance to crit right now, even without like ambush or pinpoint critical or anything like that. So still most of the time we will get that off, but not every time. We'll take a look at some of those things. I'm gonna go back to base, grab some of those items that had high tiers. Um, yeah, I hope you enjoyed tonight's video. Leave down in the comments if you want me to shut up, if you want me to add some music, if you like, violin, or if you like some soft techno, or if whatever it is you like, let me know. Um, if you're sleeping right now, maybe maybe I've already come out with the third video in this installment. You can just have my flicker strikes floating through your brain as you drift off to sleep. So thanks so much for coming in and watching. Please remember to subscribe. My goal is 1,000 subscribers, and I'd be very grateful if we could eventually get there. Look out for a Discord in the future. Have a good night.